Hello folks, and welcome back to the trenches as we get to the penultimate video in my top 50 of 2025. As always, this list is my top 50 games that I have played in 2025. So everything I have recorded my plays for from January 1st to now. It's getting really exciting now. We're getting through to the final push of games that are some of my favorites to talk about. So I guess we should start. So first in at number 20 is Paladins of the West Kingdom. I'll say now that this is the highest ranked Garfield game on my list. We're big fans of a lot of their games. I love the three trilogies, but this year we've been playing a bit less of them, and Paladins was just the one that was an easy one to fall back into because we've played it so much, we know it so well. It's a game it's one of the few games in our collection actually that I've never had an urge to play at a higher than 2-player count. Usually a lot of the games we play, I enjoy it too, but I always want to just sample it at 3 or 4. But Paladins I've never wanted to play with anyone other than my wife. The games that we play just have a nice flow to them. I love the decision space around the meeples, choosing the coloured meeples you want at the beginning of the round, trying to do stuff. Knowing that there's an option that you might want to carry meeples over to the next round to have better turns then. And then there's obviously the spaces that you can uncover to give you more meeples. Suddenly you've got a turn that's a lot stronger than you originally planned it to be. This year we tried the expansion, and I will say it's a rare expansion that I feel like I actually will never play with that again. I don't think I think it brought too much complexity to the game that didn't need. But yeah, the base game of Paladins is without doubt my favourite of the 9 medieval games so far. It's really, really good. On to number 19, and we have Tatsu. This is one of my favourite 2-player only games of all time. It's backgammon-esque, so you're rolling 2 dice and you're using the results of those dice to move 1 or 2 of your dragon pieces around a board, and you're trying to capture your enemies, your opponent's dragons, knocking them off the board. When we started playing this game, our games were very short because we were just rolling dice, moving things, and somebody would lose. And then we started to learn all the little nuances of sort of defending your dragons and holding them, because there's 2 rings to the game, and you can sit one on the inner ring and one on the outer ring, and it's a safe spot. And suddenly our games were taking like 30, 40 minutes. It just becomes really, really tactical. I will say that the cherry on top for this year was that not only did I pick up the travel edition while we were at UK Game Expo, but I was literally sold my copy by the designer, as in he did the transaction for it, which is just like really quirky and really cool. That because we also love Hive as well. It's one of our favourite games. We've just not played that enough this year. But yeah, Tatsu is just, especially the travel version now, if you haven't tried it yet, it's affordable, it's compact, and it's well worth your time. At number 18, we have Galileo Galilei, another newer purchase into the collection this year. We were showing this game at an Instagram meetup, and I think the very next morning, Sunday morning, I ordered our own copy because we loved it so much. It's a game with a rondo action. You are astronomers trying to observe planets and constellations. You are trying to gain more knowledge in the university by moving up certain tracks, and you have the Inquisition, who you have to carefully manipulate in your basement to avoid negative points and try and make them score efficiently for you. That's a peculiar sentence to say. Yeah, we've not only loved it ourselves, but everyone we've taught it to has really enjoyed it as well. We've been putting this in front of a lot of people this year, and just recently I managed to finally get the expansion to the table, the lunar expansion, which adds a couple more characters for the asymmetry, and it adds a little moon mechanic, which on our first play I kind of messed up and got excited about and jumped into too early, shall we say. But I think, yeah, for us, we've played it quite a bit over the last couple of months, and it adds a lot more interesting stuff to the game. So looking forward to trying the expansion more into 2026. On to number 17, and it's Tokaido. This is another game on my list that just jumps in and out every couple of years. And once again, it's all based on how often we get it to the table. And in 2025, we played Tokaido quite a lot, more than we played Tokaido Geo. This was the first game that ever got me really into the hobby. After a games night with some friends, this was the last thing we played, and I was sort of blown away by the look of the game and the relaxing feel to. To this day, I've never cared if I won Tokaido. I just enjoy the journey of playing that game from going from start to finish. I rarely get stressed playing it. Yeah, it's just a very, it's got a really interesting mechanic for movement where the last player always goes first. So if you can hold back as long as possible, you might get more out of it. But if you jump too far ahead, you'll be waiting for everyone else to catch up, and you'll be watching them all have multiple turns while you sit and do nothing. And you're just basically gathering things, gathering painting cars, gathering people you meet on the way, going to the springs, gathering gifts from shops, food in the inns. It's just all about set collection. You end up the game with a whole bunch of small cards in front of you. I will say, when I heard that Stonemaier were taking this over from Funforge Labs, I was really interested in if they would do like a new version, like not deluxe, but like, you know, new components and stuff like that. But from what I've seen, it is a like-for-like reprint, which I'm a bit sad about, because it is one of my favourite games, and it constantly jumps back onto the list when I play it enough. But yeah, Tokaido, it's a classic of the hobby, and a very relaxing game, and I really like it. At number 16, we have Castle Combo, another firm favourite small box card game. In this one, you are drafting cards from 2 different rows, and you are building up a 3x3 grid of cards, and each card has a different scoring requirement on it. So it might depend on the card's placement, it might depend on other cards you have in that tableau at the end of the game. And yeah, you're just trying to get the most points over everyone else. It's super simple to teach, and it's a lot of fun. We play this with the family quite a bit, and it's just a nice sort of palate cleanser. Nice if you've got like 20 minutes to fill. It just works really, really well, and it looks adorable. And at number 15, we have Andromeda's Edge. This is an absolute beast of a game. I backed the deluxe copy in the crowdfunding campaign, and it's worth every penny. It really is. You have different ships instead of workers to place out, each with their own kind of ability, and you are flying out to different regions in the galaxy, and then triggering the ability of the region you've gone to. You have an action where you can pull all your ships back from space into your station. Hopefully you've got enough modules in there to make it effective, because you get to trigger all your modules and they give you more resources and everything you're going to need for when you go back out. There's enemy ships, like raider ships that have different powers and different ways of working that can be out on the board annoying you and your opponents at the same time. There's lots of tracks to go up. It's yeah, it's a gorgeous work of art when it's all up on the table. It's a table hog. We did manage a first 3-player game of this earlier in the year, and that was a tight squeeze on this table. So we mostly played the 2, and there is a 2-player you can kind of avoid each other more. We found in the 3-player game that we were definitely forced to trip over each other a lot more and get stuck into fighting each other and not just the raiders. But yeah, this is like I say, it's my wife's one of my wife's favourite games. We play it a lot, and I enjoy every single play of this. And at number 14, we have Aeon's End. Now, this is the only game that made it from last year's honourable mention list onto my top 50. We played the Legacy version years ago, and although we really liked it, I just found it very fiddly to set up a game in sort of the post-campaign setup. I just couldn't get my head around what to do, and we ended up just getting rid of it. But I always wanted to sort of play the base game, the original that was just like played straight out of the box every time. So very fortunate that at the end of last year we were gifted a copy, and that went straight to the table, and we've been playing it ever since. We've gone through all the bosses, we've gone through most of the characters. I love deck building, and I love co-op games, so just mashing those 2 together has worked perfectly. And we have games where we get absolutely destroyed, and we have games where we just curb stomp the nemesis, and I don't know what hit them. We're just powerful gods, it feels like. And I just love the variations we have between all of our games. Yeah, that's without a doubt my favourite deck building game of all time, and I'm itching to get more content for it now. And at number 13, we have The Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era. Without doubt the most expensive game in our collection. For some reason I chose this to dip my toes into chip theory games. Crazy. I was actually really close to going into Too Many Bones content. I was like, I really want to try it, and then they announced that they were doing an Elder Scrolls game with sort of a similar mechanics, similar style. So very fortunate there that I hadn't already taken the dive, because I love the Elder Scrolls games. I came up on Oblivion, I came up on Skyrim, really enjoy those. This game would be probably higher on my list if it was easy to table, and if it didn't take so long to play. That's not a criticism. That the game is what it is, but I just don't get it to the table as much as I would like to, because it can take a hell of a lot of time to set up, and we have to devote an entire day to playing this. And also, I do have issues with the third stage of the game, sort of the big boss fight at the end. We kind of just like we get steamrolled every time. And that might be an us problem, I don't know. I really enjoyed the first 2 sessions that you do where you're adventuring around the map and, you know, getting into trouble, having your fights, visiting towns and things like that. I just have a little bit of a, because we spend so much time getting to the end and it's just like, boom, you're dead. There was no chance of us ever winning these fights. But that said, the rest of the experience and the gorgeous deluxification that they have of their games, I mean, their reputation precedes them. Yeah, it's a stayer in our collection for sure, and we've got more content coming next year, which I'm really looking forward to. At number 12, we have the most Marmite game that came out this year. It's Vantage. And obviously, if it's number 12 on my list, you know what side I fall on. We really enjoy this game. We've had a lot of sessions where we just get stuck into the world and forget what our main quest is. We had one session where my wife just ended up being a shopkeeper for the entire game. She just took employment and then started doing loads of stuff in the shop while I was out in the ocean trying to find a relic that would get me something really, really cool that I was sure was to the south or the southwest, and I never found it. But yeah, as I said, it's a game that divides people, and I think it's something that you get out of it, what you put in. And I know that sounds really snobby to say, but this game isn't for everyone, and it just happens to be a game that works really well for me. We like the role-playing aspect of it, just getting stuck into the world, making decisions based on what we think our characters would do, and not trying to mechanically make our way through the game. We just let the story flow. Some games have been over in 20 minutes, some games have been over in 2 hours, and we rarely push the sort of the reset button that's available to you at the end. If one of you gets knocked out, there's a way of sort of stepping back into the game if you don't think you've had enough. And I think we've never used that once. We've just felt like the story has ended when it's ended. I've done a couple of solo plays as well. It's quite relaxing to just jaunt around solo. A little bit more difficult because you don't have another player whose cards you might be able to use to get rid of some of the dice, the bad dice rolls you've had. So you do kind of miss that. And obviously, the more plays you had, the more opportunities there are to do that. But the downtime between your go and your next go would be rough, I feel. But yeah, Vantage is a game. It's either going to sit near the top of your list or it's going to never touch it. Depends on what kind of game you are and what kind of things you look forward to. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. But me, Vantage is number 12. And the final game in today's video at number 11 is Quirkle. I know it sticks out like a sore thumb with all the games that surround it on this list, but I really think Quirkle is not only a game that everyone should try. I think it's a game that should be in every single collection. It works for gamers and non-gamers. It's basically Scrabble with shapes and colours. You have 6 tiles in front of you at any time, and they're just made up of a variety of coloured shapes, and you're trying to lay them out to either get rows of the same colour but the 6 different shapes, or the same shapes but of the 6 different colours. That gets you the most points, and it's just keep playing tile on tile until they're all gone, and then see who's got the highest score. We've got the travel version, we've got the deluxe version for special occasions. I don't know. It's just a game you can teach to anyone, and it's just super relaxing fun. What more do you need from a game? Well, 10 more games down and we are closing in on the finale, folks. There are just 10 games to go now. The 10 best games that I've played in 2025. Can you believe it? I hope you've enjoyed the selection I presented today. Agree, disagree, comments below, you know the routine. And I guess I will see you in the next final video. Awesome.